An editor. Before I get started, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Smash that bell thing so you know when you get new notifications of videos. Of course, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I want to get into a topic before I start taking some of your questions, and it's about eating because I get so many inquiries about drugs, the perfect training program, perfect training split. Should I do 9 reps or should I do 10 reps? Minutia. And then I start asking the person, what's your diet like? And they go, oh, I eat fine. Come to find out they don't eat like a bodybuilder. What's eating like a bodybuilder? It's multiple meals. It's every 2 to 3 hours. From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, that's what it takes. Eating is the hardest part of bodybuilding, by far, by far. Everybody loves to go to the gym and train, right? Everybody. Everybody likes to eat what they want when they want, but not everyone. Actually, very few people will eat all the things they need to eat every day at the right times, every day. Not just if you feel like it, not just if somebody made some food. You have to take full responsibility, accountability for your own nutrition. And to do that, you have 3 options. Either you have to cook and meal prep all your own food, which is what I do. Yeah, I have a wife, and she cooks every now and then, but mostly she cooks for herself. She cooks for our son. She's all done. She used to make all my meals, believe me. She spent many years cooking batches and batches of beef, chicken, fish, all that good stuff. Now I do that. So that's option 1. Cook for yourself. Option 2, find somebody, a man or a woman or somebody that's willing to cook all your food for you every day, not just, 1 meal a day. We're talking about 4, 5, 6 meals every day. Good luck with that. Third option, if you have the money, some of you do. Some of you put like 10 cents into Bitcoin and now you're billionaires. Meal prep companies. Trifecta's a big one. There's a ton of them out there. Those meal prep companies will deliver the food, prepackaged meals, freeze-dried, all that crap to your door, and you just have to crack them open and heat them up or let them defrost or whatever. So those are your 3 options for your nutrition. But you do have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. You can't be wondering where your next meal is going to come from. It's something you have to plan for. You have to be very disciplined. It's a lot of work. You have to be the one to make sure you have enough food bought. Do I have enough? What are the foods? So I'll go through mine. See, there's no excuse not to eat like a bodybuilder because there's a million videos. All your favorite bodybuilders out there have a video called Full Day of Eating. Some of them have many of those videos. I guarantee you, whoever you are and you follow a pro bodybuilder or classic physique pro, 212 pro, whatever, I guarantee you they probably have one, if not many videos showing you exactly what they eat in a day. And it's not the most exciting thing to watch because it's very repetitious. They wake up, they eat this. 2 hours later, they eat that, and so on, and so on, and so on. That's what it takes, though. You can train your ass off. You can take drugs. You'll get some results. Don't get me wrong. Of course you will. You're not going to get the results you would if you were constantly supplying your body with all those building blocks, the protein, the complex carbohydrates, the healthy fats. So like on a daily basis, I'll run through my meals really quick. Meal 1 for me, because it's almost always exactly the same meals. I'm very, very much a creature of habit. So I wake up and I have 2 whole eggs, a half cup of egg whites. There's some vegetables. My wife, she does chop up vegetables, and I add those in. It's peppers, onions. It's a bunch of stuff. I just put that in for more nutrients, more antioxidants, all that good stuff. I have 3/4 of a cup of dry oatmeal in a cup. Microwave that in a bowl with water for 90 seconds. I put my collagen powder in the coffee that I drink. I drink some coffee with a little protein shake for extra flavor and extra protein. And what else do I put in there? I put the greens mix, whatever the greens mix from Redcon. I put that in the oatmeal. Also about a handful of blueberries. That's meal 1. About hour, 15 minutes later, I head to the gym. It takes me about 25 minutes to get to the gym. Drink my pre-workout on the way to the gym. I use Total War by Redcon. While I'm training, you don't have to do this, intra-workout nutrition, but while I'm training, I have essential amino acids, I have creatine, I have glutamine in a big jug. And I'm drinking that the whole time. When I'm done, I have 50 grams of whey protein isolate in a shake. Mix that up. I don't throw anything else in there. And with that, I also have a cup or cup or 2 of sugary cereal, because this is the only time of the day when you really want those fast sugars. Right now I'm using Kicks. When I'm done with the Kicks, I'm gonna crack open a box of Count Chocula. Doesn't matter. It's all sugar, sugar and whey protein. That's my post-workout shake, and I also have a little bit of solid food in the form of the cereal with it. Next meal is always the same. It's chicken and rice. It's about 45, 50 grams protein. It's about 50. I use chicken thighs because they're cheaper. I'm cheap. They're more moist. They don't have that much more fat than regular chicken breast. And I make huge batches of these. I make like 8 or 9 or 10 days worth in a crock pot to have like 8 to 10 servings, depending on how many are in the package. I have that, plus with that I'll have rice. Cup of white rice, cup and a half white rice, 2 cups, depending on how hungry I am, what I trained. I'll have more rice on days I train back and legs, of course. So that's meal 2. Meal 3 is, so that meal goes down at 1 o'clock every day. I have this thing down to a science because my schedule is very much predetermined. The next meal after that, meal 3, I have a turkey burger. It's a turkey breast burger. I get those from BJ's. I think a lot of Costco's carry them too. Have it on a potato bread bun with a slice of cheese. Yes, cheese, it's fine. It's off season. I don't care. With that, I have a large apple, and I have another big mug of coffee with some collagen in it and some protein powder in it. So again, I'm always aiming for about 50 grams of protein per serving, and I'm having, counting that post-workout shake, it's six servings a day. So I get about 300 grams of protein a day. So that's meal 3. Meal 4, I have 5 solid meals. I don't really count that shake. The next meal after that is going to be ground turkey. I make a huge batch, like 2 pounds, 3 pounds of ground turkey at once with some the seasoning the taco seasoning. I just fry that up in a massive pan and portion out the servings. I have that with some tortilla chips, gluten-free tortilla chips. I try not to have too much gluten. Mix that up. You could put rice in there too. Ground meat is really good if you're in a hurry, or if you're just not someone who likes to chew a lot of food. Ground beef, ground turkey, it's just easier to get down than something that you have to chew for a while. So that's it. And then I only have one more meal for the day, and that's usually either a sirloin patty with some nuts and vegetables, green beans. I have the mixed nuts from Costco. Yeah, I go to Costco a lot. My wife works at Costco. If I don't have salmon, if I don't have the ground beef patty with that, a sirloin patty with that, it's going to be salmon. I'll do salmon like 3 or 4 nights a week. I get the farm raised salmon. I know it's not as good for you. It's way cheaper though, because food's pretty expensive now. So that's what I eat in a day. And I'm 53 years old. Yeah, I use drugs. Of course I do. I'm not going to lie about that. But I wouldn't look the way I do. I know I don't look like I'm on the Olympia stage or anything, but I wouldn't look like this if I didn't eat that way. If I ate like a regular person, like I talk to a lot of guys and they don't eat breakfast. I'm like, oh, you got to eat breakfast. They go, well, I'm not hungry in the morning. Oh, well, you got to eat something, dude. You got to eat something. You at least get a shake and some oats down, something like that. I'm not really into the bars and shakes that much. I think you're always better off eating more food meals if you can. The more food you can eat, the better. It's the building blocks. That's what our bodies were designed. If you believe in intelligent design, that's what our bodies are meant to process is food. Eggs, chicken, red meat, white pork, fish, oats, rice, potatoes, fruits, vegetables. These are all great things for you. All right, now let's get to your questions. Ooh, what did I do there? Sorry, guys. Go back to the MD channel and go to the live chat. Let's go to the phones, as we used to say back in the radio days. Frederick Colomb, it takes discipline to do this for years. Yeah, like I said, everybody loves to lift weights. Lifting weights is fun. You just go to the gym, you get a pump on, you push some weights, pull some weights, it's fun. Eating's fun when you get to eat what you want when you want. Oh, let's go out for pizza. Let's go get a burger or something. But especially if you don't have a really good appetite, you're not someone that naturally is hungry all the time. It's a chore. You have to really train yourself to eat like that. Abdullah Al-Motuch, damn wrong, Trap's looking massive. Nah, it's a shirt, it's a camo pattern. Mitch Fornanaj, the mini sledge. I honestly think at least 50% of the reason I bodybuild is because I love to eat every 2 hours. Yeah. I mean, if you ate every 2 hours and you didn't exercise, you'd just be a fatso. That's how I make my chicken too. Yeah. Crock pots, guys. I didn't own a crock pot until maybe, 5, 6, 7 years ago. They are so good for cooking big batches of food because You can put it on slow. They're called slow cookers too. You literally just put the chicken and some seasoning, whatever, in there. Turn it on. You forget about it. 8-10 hours later, whenever you want to take it out, it'll stay. After it's done cooking, it'll just click on over to a stay warm mode. But you just take it out and portion it out. Put it in your glass containers, your Tupperware, whatever you have. Such an easy way to make mass quantities of food. You know, you can grill too, but grilling, you got to buy the propane. You know, if you're in a place where it's cold a lot of the year, you're gonna have to keep that grill shoveled out and everything. Let's see. Bo True, hey bros, what's up, Bo? I didn't eat breakfast. No, I need to eat. Yeah, you gotta eat breakfast, man. It's not the most important meal of the day, but I feel like every meal is the most important meal because you can't be skipping a bunch of meals. You need this constant supply. You know, it's like it's a bucket with a big hole in the bottom. It's always leaking out. You always have to keep putting more nutrients in because our body is constantly digesting and processing what we eat, and you got to keep putting more in. Our stove, do you feel you have to change your diet as you get older, or do calories and macros remain the same? I do find I can't get away with as much junk, and I can't eat as many carbs as I used to and stay lean. My metabolism, it's slowed down significantly. I'm 53. I remember being like my son. My son's 23. When I was in my teens and early 20s, it was very, very difficult for me to gain weight. I could eat and eat and eat, and it was just really hard to see that scale budge. And as you know, this is a human body. As time goes on, as you get older, your metabolism will slow down a little. That's just the way we are. That's the way we're designed. We're designed to be in our prime, in our youth, in our mating/breeding years. That's when we're biologically at our prime, and then things slow down after that. Let's see. Bo True, real whole food, Rich Piana. Yeah, whole food, it's the best. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I talk to a lot of guys at the gym, and they're like, well, can I just have shakes? You can. It's not as good. It's not. It's better than not having anything. Having a bar or shake is definitely a better choice than skipping a meal completely. Believe me, I would never say it's not. But if you can consistently just eat, real food, stack all those meals every day, dude, you're gonna be looking and feeling fantastic. Bo True, I have an excuse. I got injured. I'm heading to Africa to get married and continue lifting. Well, good luck with that. That sounds like an adventure. I'm gonna hunt a lion. No, please don't hunt a lion, man. I don't know about you guys. When I see people hunting like lions and elephants, I just think, why? These are like beautiful, graceful, majestic animals. They're endangered. Yeah, what do maybe you have to pay this big fee to the Game Society, and that's helping conserve animals, or I don't know, but please, guys, don't hunt these awesome animals. Leave them alone. When I see like somebody with a lion they killed, I'm like, you mother effer, how dare you? You killed a lion? You son of a bitch. Anyway, that's just my feeling on it. Black Angel, my meals are pretty similar to yours, brother, and I'm 42. You're just a youngster. And look better than when I was 25. I do 20 minutes cardio 5 times a week. Saludos desde Mexico. Next, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can get into bodybuilding at almost any age, really. I've talked to guys who are in their 50s and 60s who are really just getting into it now. And a lot of them tell me, wow, I look and feel better now than when I was 25. Because, when you're young, you think you're going to be young forever. And, a lot of young people don't exercise. They drink, they go out drinking, drugs, eat shit food. And, it usually doesn't catch up to them for a while. Like, girls can party their asses off and miss meals and drink a lot of alcohol and eat shitty food when they're real young and still be thin and hot. But as time goes by, it catches up and they can't get away with that crap anymore. Calex Rose, Ron, they're doing a Netflix documentary about Ray and Sally. What the? Sally McNeil, did you hear about it? No, I'll check that out. That sounds interesting. Yeah, Ray and Sally McNeil. I didn't know Ray well, but I saw him win the North American. I saw him do a couple pro shows. He wasn't around very long. His wife, Sally, shot him in the chest and then in the face with a shotgun on Valentine's Day. That was back in like 93. It was a long time ago. She's still in jail? I think she's out now. I think she finally got out of jail. But man, that was quite a story. Yeah, she killed him. Wow. Now I'm really getting married. Oh, I believe you, Bo. I didn't think you were lying about that. But please leave the lions alone. Go look at them by all means. Giraffes, lions, elephants. Look at them, but please guys, don't be shooting those poor things. God, it's not like we have an abundance of them. Mitch, again, I've gone through 3 crock pots and started bodybuilding. Most use utensil and they reheat so much better than grilled. Yeah, I have the same one. What, would you break them or something? I don't know why you need the 3. I mean, the one I have, I don't think we spent a lot of money on it, but it's like we have a rice cooker. We have this rice cooker, which we've had since, I think it was a wedding gift. And I got married in June of 1991. 31, over 31 years ago. I still have that rice cooker. I still use that thing 3-4 times a week to make rice. It's easy. You throw it in there, throw your rice, your water, a little bit of salt, a little bit of oil, turn it on, forget about it. It'll click over to stay warm once it's done cooking, and you can take it out whenever you need to. Bochuse's air fry, baby. I've heard a lot of good things about air fryers. Never invested in one. I'd be down if someone threw one at me. I wouldn't throw it away. I'd use it. Abdullah Al-Mutuk, I always go for cheap when it comes to food. You don't want to go too cheap. I don't believe you have to go like all organic and grass-fed. I don't think that offers you much of a health advantage or a performance advantage over whatever you're going to buy in bulk at like Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club. And if you guys don't go to those places, the membership warehouses, you really need to. So much cheaper than your local supermarket, unless you're always someone who keeps an eye on sales and, this meat's on sale at that supermarket and chicken's on sale here. But it's very, very inexpensive in bulk. Big trays of chicken breasts, chicken thighs, salmon, whatever, man. Ground beef, ground turkey. It's so much cheaper at places like that. If you're a bodybuilder and you don't have a membership at a place like BJ's or Costco or Sam's Club, do yourself a favor and get one, because eggs, everything is so much cheaper there. You're buying in bulk. And one thing a lot of people don't realize is there's very little markup on the food at those places. I know for a fact about Costco because my wife's been working at a Costco for over 20 years. They don't make much money off the products they sell, the food and everything. It's actually the memberships. There's very little markup on their food. You're getting all the stuff at Costco for very little markup over what they got for it. So check that out if you haven't already. Mitch again. I generally have 1 or 2 shake meals out of 7 daily meals. That's fine. Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, and I keep a shake in the refrigerator mixed up. I've been doing this for years and years. I don't get up and drink from those shakes in the middle of the night as much as I used to when I was younger, when I was really trying to gain weight. I'm really not as hungry when I wake up anymore because, again, part of my metabolism slowed down. I used to be starving. I'd wake up starving at like 2 or 3 in the morning, especially when I was dieting for shows. But now, yeah. But yeah, if you're having 7 daily meals and 1 or 2 of those as shakes, you're golden. I remember seeing people claiming that they were eating like 10 solid meals a day. They're full of shit. There's no way. There's 24 hours in a day, and you got to sleep sometime, right? Let's say you only sleep 6 hours. Let's do some math. So that gives you 18 hours to eat, right? 18, if you're eating 10 meals a day, and let's say it takes you no time to eat. You eat instantly. That's 18 hours to digest 10 meals. It's 1.8 hours. Nobody's digestive system is that freaking efficient. I don't care who you are. Only joking good, Bo, man. Leave those. Lions are awesome, man. I mean, I've never seen one outside of a zoo. I'd love to go over to Africa and see them in their natural habitat. And I wouldn't be shooting at them, I guarantee you. I was at the show, and yes, she is out. What are you talking about, Dean? I don't know what show you're talking about. Was I talking about a show? Oh, Sally McNeil. She's out of jail. Oh, I mean, well, she was in for freaking almost 30 years, I think. She was in well over 20 years. That doc is crazy. Is it out? Is that out yet? I haven't heard anything. Huh. Is the Ray and Sally McNeil documentary out now? If so, I'm definitely checking that out. I've been watching Euphoria. I finally finished season 1. My God, those kids are such... Can I say hoes? The level of promiscuity on that show is just mind-boggling. But it's a very well-done show. So Mitch has an update on the crock pots. They just stopped working. I make a batch like every other day. I don't know, maybe buy 2 cheaper versions. Yeah. Usually they come with a warranty that'll cover them for a certain amount of time. Keep the warranty, send it in. So they'll have to replace it for free. Or getting back to Costco, I think at Costco, they're very liberal with their return policy. If you buy something at Costco, even if a year or 2 later it breaks down, whatever, you can almost always get a replacement or your money back at Costco. I've seen that, believe me. Bo True, 1 to 2 shakes is totally reasonable, Mitch. Makes sense, yeah. Dinesh Kumar, people don't realize the importance of good fats. Please explain. Yeah, they're important for a lot of vital functions in the human body. You can Google that. I don't know off the top of my head. They're very important for your overall health. But good fats come from things like salmon, fish that live in cold water like that, mackerel, salmon, tuna even. You get it from egg yolks, the lecithin in the egg yolks, nuts, raw nuts, things like pistachios, almonds. Usually they'll sell mixed nuts at places like BJ's and Costco's. I buy a big jar of them for like 12, 14 bucks. At a supermarket, they would give you that much. You would pay that much for half the amount of nuts. But yeah, nuts. I get my fats every day from egg yolks, nuts, and salmon. And you can put olive oil in your cook with olive oil and stuff too. That's good for you. Let's see. What's your thoughts? Oh, here we go. So Dale Clark, Heart Rumbo, True. Good fats have protective effects on the brain, heart, vascular. Yeah, I knew they were good for the heart. The omega-3. I mean, that's what people have been on a fish oil kick now for a good 20 years because there are studies that show it's very very protective for your heart. Dale Clark, what's your thoughts on the hate Jason Genova gets online? I haven't heard jack about Jason in a long time. I haven't heard anything, love or hate. I don't know what happened to Jason. He dropped off the face of the earth. He was huge on YouTube for years, coming out with videos, and then the Del Rey Misfits, they had videos out all the time. But is the hate he gets justified? Well, he was someone who could get on your nerves. It was pointed out in the videos. Even the guy Andrew that made all those videos, he was constantly lying. He had this real entitlement to him. He was always trying to get people to give him things for free. He was just very ungrateful and unappreciative, and that's a quality that really grinds on people's nerves after a while. RESQ the fourth. I have veggies, but I got to start my cut. Anything you can recommend for veggie replacement? Why would you take veggies out on a cut? Unless you're putting them in butter or something. No, I eat a lot more vegetables when I'm trying to get lean, just because I'm cutting my carbs back and I don't want the overall volume of food going down too much. But broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, green salads from lettuce, spinach, artichokes, asparagus. These are all good things. These are all very, very clean food sources with a lot of vitamins. I don't know why you'd want to cut veggies out. Ratan Sharma, thoughts on Indian men's physique, Olympian Brawan Chuan. I've not heard of him, I'm sorry. I don't follow men's physique that closely. And if I do, I only know the very top guys. I'm sure he looks fantastic, so best of luck to him. Bo True, 10 solid meals a day, impossible for the average man. Brian Shaw maybe, or Hafthor. Even then, they can't digest food any quicker than you or I can. They don't have some superhuman alien digestive system where they could eat like a pound of red meat and a giant potato and it's going to be digested in 40 minutes. No, their digestive systems follow the same laws of human physiology that yours and mine do. Nobody can digest 10 solid meals a day. It's not even possible. It's ridiculous. Dale Clark, what do you think about women in the gym, who are all too eager to accuse men of perving on them in the gym? Even times when a guy's completely innocent and just training women can be all too happy. Yeah, it's a different world out there now, and women, they'll go to the gym dressed provocatively, a little short shorts, little sports bra. Clearly they want attention, or else they'd be in sweats. Or they could say, well, why can't I just wear what I want and what I'm comfortable wearing? And sure you can, but men are visual creatures. Men can't help, you can stop yourself from staring and sitting there with your mouth open and drooling. That's unacceptable. But good luck as a man walking, scanning a room and seeing a very attractive woman dressed very scantily and not even glancing. You'd have to have an incredible willpower. Joey Swoll does a lot of really good videos. Basically, he'll start off with the women's video where they're trying to shame some guy, either for walking in front of their camera when they're trying to film their set or for looking at them. But yeah, you have to be very careful. It's a different era. Women want attention, but they only want it from men that they're very attracted to, which is going to be a very small percentage of the population. So at the gym, they want the hot guys to notice them, the Chads, the Tyrones, the guys who are 6'2", jacked, tatted, big square jaw, doesn't give an F attitude. That's who they want to notice them and look at them. They don't want the regular gym bros, the regular schmucks looking at them. So you got to be very, very careful now. Yeah, I mean, you're just better off doing your best to ignore them. I don't think the gym is a great place to pick up people in 2022. I picked up my wife in a gym in 1989. That was 1989. Most of you guys weren't even born then. Bo True, get some chlorophyll for veggie replacement. Yeah, there's all kinds of greens mixes with all the nutrients that you can get from vegetables, but unless you hate vegetables and you're like nauseated by the thought of them or the smell or the taste or texture, eat your veggies, guys. Just like the moms used to tell. I don't know if they tell them anymore, but eat your vegetables. Yeah. Dave Thomas, how are your sleep patterns whilst dieting, Ron? Always lack of sleep the closer you get to a show. Yeah, I sleep fine now, but when I'm dieting, I think it's a combination of things. So even if you're natural and you're dieting and your metabolism starts cranking, you're eating less, your metabolism is getting faster, you don't require as much sleep. Because I competed naturally for years and years, guys, before I started using anabolics. But when you're on gear, you're using things like clenbuterol, sometimes using thyroid drugs, fat burners, things with ephedra in them, and a lot of caffeine. They're gonna mess up your sleep patterns. I do find that as you get very lean and you get close to a contest and you're really lean, I don't think you need as much sleep. So if you normally get 8 hours, you might be able to get by with 7 or even 6. I remember feeling fine. I mean, I'd be tired from dieting and everything, but if you can grab a nap, grab a nap. Bo True, you can mix it in water. Has tons of micronutrients, very few calories. Yeah, there's a lot of greens formulas out there that are good options for people that can't or won't eat vegetables. Tons of options out there now. Dean Bowen, the key is in terms like essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. These are essential because the body must ingest and cannot synthesize on its own. Yeah, that's a good point, because like you can get you can get your amino acids from food and everything. Sorry, I gotta have a drink. But your body can't make all the amino acids, so that's why we have to get them from food sources. Bo True, I love Jason Genova. Does anybody know what happened to Jason? Because I haven't heard a peep about that guy in a very long time. I hope he's okay. He's got to be like 34, 35 by this point. He's not a kid anymore. Exactly, Bowen. Dale Clark. Ron, YouTube and bodybuilder at a certain level. Nick Wright, retired from making YouTube videos, and he's kept his word, hasn't uploaded on ages. Thoughts on Nick Wright? I don't know who Nick Wright is. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. There's so many YouTubers. There are so many YouTubers now. When YouTube started, like, I have a channel that's still up called Ron Harris Muscle. I haven't uploaded jack to it in years, but YouTube was so much less competitive then versus now. I have videos on there with like just little training clips with a really shitty little video camera thing that I had that I could just upload. I can't remember what it was called. It was the quality was awful. And you could see it if you go to my channel, that the video quality is just horrific. But I used to get 50, 100, 200,000 views on some of these videos. You can't, it's very difficult to get those kind of views now, because now there's millions and millions of channels to choose from. There's a lot more competition. I don't know who Nick was, or is, I'm sorry. I hate veggies. A lot of people hate veggies. I would suggest eating a small amount of vegetables, though. You need those veggies. Dale Clark, thanks for answering. If a man has been accused of staring at a woman in the gym, despite being completely innocent, what advice would you give him? Some men might be put off from training after. You just have to train with your blinders on, man. Headphones, no eye contact. You're better off not making eye contact with anybody in the gym anyway. I know it sucks, because gyms used to be a place where there was a lot of camaraderie and support. It's not like that anymore. Now everyone's got their headphones on, hoodies. Everyone's in their own little world. They have their own agenda. Half of them are filming everything they do. But if you've been, if you've had issues with women, you definitely want to not create any more. So no eye contact, leave them alone. Don't try to talk to them, because, you're inviting a situation. Bo True, I'd just be polite, Dale Clark. Kill them with kindness. You can't even be polite. I would say just avoid all contact. Don't talk to them. Don't look at them. Anything from a guy that they're not attracted to can be construed as creepy. So let's say a Chad comes up and says, hey, babe, you're looking hot. She'll giggle and, toss her hair and maybe touch him on the arm. She digs that. But if a regular guy, some schmuck that she does not find attractive, comes up and says, you're looking hot, totally different reaction. She'll flip out on you. She might call the manager and say, get this guy out of here. He's sexually harassing me. That's it. You can't. You have to be very careful with your attention to females in 2022. It's a different world out there. And, you know, I have a daughter. I wouldn't want her being harassed at a gym either. But, you know, like I said, you just have to be very, very, very careful. Oh, true. I'd rather be polite. Oh, sorry. I already said that. Sunita FL. Hi, Ron. Big Ron. Huh. Ronnie Coleman is Big Ron. I'm Medium Ron. What do you think about dairy foods? Pretty underrated. The fat factor from intolerance not always, however, makes it so much highly recognized food. I have dairy every day, and I have a cheese slice with my turkey burger every day. I used to put, if once in a while, I'll put like shredded cheese on my omelets in the morning, my eggs. Cheese is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, cheese it's just another protein source. It's just a milk protein. There's nothing, you know, if you're lactose intolerant, then yeah, you're going to have issues because you'll have gas, maybe diarrhea. I don't know how many people are actually lactose intolerant. It's like the gluten. I don't know how many people are actually allergic to gluten versus how many just think they are. But I've had dairy in my diet pretty much my whole life. I don't think I've ever really. I used to take it out when I was dieting, but I don't even know if I needed to or if I just thought that was what I had to do. Esmeralda, were you 6'2" when you met your wife? No, I was 5'8.5". You didn't have to be 6'2" back in the 80s, man. You didn't. Now you do. Yeah, there's a great channel. It's a red pill channel by a woman named Pearl Daly, and she says this all the time about how overly selective women are. I don't want to get off on the whole red pill thing, but a lot of women will say, I want a guy who's 6 foot or over, makes over six figures, 100,000. He's got to be good looking too. So in the USA, 15% of men are 6 foot or taller. So now you're just eliminating 85% of all men. Let's take that 15%. How many of them make $100,000 or more? Let's be very generous and cut that in half. Let's say, okay, now we're down to 7.5%. Okay, out of those 7.5% of men who are 6 foot taller and make over six figures a year, how many of them are what they would consider good looking? Let's be very generous and say, okay, maybe half of them. 7.5 divided by 2 is what? 3.5? 3.75%. So it's a very small dating pool that they're choosing from, which is why those guys have a lot of women going. I know some tall dudes at my gym. They're dating like 5, 6. I say dating. They're not going on dates. Trust me. They're just getting girls to come out and Netflix and chill at their place. But yeah, those guys have a lot of options now because they're in demand. I'm so glad I'm not single and young now. It would suck. Unless I was 6'2" and Chad, then it would be awesome. Maybe 6'4" would be even better than 6'2". Good advice there, Bo. I was 6'8" last. I was 5'8.5". I'm 5'7.5" now. I've lost an inch of height. I hate to tell you this, but you're all going to get shorter eventually if you live long enough. If you die right now, you won't get any shorter, but you'll be dead. If you live long enough, middle age and beyond, you'll shrink. It's just human physiology once again. It's very hard as a young person. A lot of you young people can't comprehend that you're going to look any different as you get older. You think, I'm always going to look and feel exactly like this. No, I mean, every old person you see, they thought the same thing. They thought, I'm never going to get old. I'm never going to look old or joint pain or anything. If your options are either you're going to die young or you're going to get old. Those are your only two options, guys. We still don't have that fountain of youth. And vampirism is not a real thing as far as I know. Justin Bass, I love doing dips. It's really helped me improve my other lists, but some people say not to do them. I love the dips. I can't do them now because I have a shoulder that needs to be replaced, but dips were a mainstay of mine for many, many years. Love them. High rep dips, low rep dips with extra weight on. Great for the chest, the triceps, the front delts. No, dips are a really good bread and butter body weight movement, like chin-ups. I think chin-ups and dips are two almost lost exercises. I don't see a lot of people doing them anymore, but back in the day, everybody did chin-ups. Everybody did dips. In fact, the old school bodybuilders, you know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger era, Lou Ferrigno, Franco Columbu, those guys in the pumping iron era, they didn't have machines for chests. They just didn't exist yet. So all they did was barbell presses, incline, flat, decline, and dips and some dumbbell flies. And those guys had crazy thick chests, upper chest, lower, everything, side to side. Mitch, again, I just run on 5 hours of sleep. Oof. I mean, that's some people, that's all they need. Oh, wait. Oh, God, I'm way back. I'm way behind. Mitch says, I run on 5 hours sleep all the time. Prep doesn't affect it. Yeah, some people don't require as much sleep. Some people need a lot of sleep. Some people don't. Everyone's different. Kevin Ghost, Ron, do you think this year Mr. Olympia is going to be best ever? Yes, I do. Dale Clark, Ron, do you think women who only go for the Chad types, as you put it? No, not all of them. Are they entitled to be attracted to who they like? Or it's a bit shallow? I mean, we're shallow as men. All we care about, women complain and say, well, what about our personality? What about my college degrees? Most men could care less about any of that. We're all about the looks. If we're not physically attracted to a woman, I don't care what degree she has. I don't care how much money she makes. None of that matters. The whole money thing is ridiculous because most men figure, I'm going to pay for everything anyway. Why do I care if she has money? It's not my mom. I'm never going to see that money. That's her money. And that's how most women go into relationships. If they're making money, that's their money. Your money is her money and her money is her money. But no, I can't blame women for liking what they like. And they have they have all these options now. They have these dating apps. They swipe, swipe, swipe. Nope, nope, nope. I like this guy. If we had as many options as they did, if sex was as easy for us, if it was all came as easily for us as it does for women, we would do the same exact thing. Guarantee you. So you can't hate the player. You got to hate the game. That's what I tell myself all the time. Reynolds, would Dallas McCarver have beaten Big Ramy in the Olympia by now? We'll never know how good Dallas could have been. I think he was just getting started. He took second place at his first Arnold Classic when he was, 26 years old? Dallas had so much potential. We'll never know how good he could have been. It's very, very tragic. Ratan Sharma, there was an argument between Dorian and Milos on Dennis James' podcast about training style and cardio. Dorian promoting 7 minutes cardio. Your thoughts on that? I have nothing but respect for Dorian Yates. Huge fan of him. I know him personally, trained with him, and I think he has a lot of great ideas. I don't agree with all of his ideas. I think most people require more cardio. I think a lot of people require more volume to see optimal results than what he advocates. The one set to failure thing, I think that works great for some people. Other people will respond more to volume. Until you've tried it both ways, you'd never know which one was better for you. But to make a blanket statement, say like everyone would get the best results from HIT style training, or everyone would get the best results from volume training, or even these things might work better for you at different phases in your life and your training career. Things change over the years. But no, I don't think 7 minutes cardio is enough. Bo True, dips are awesome for chest, triceps, such. I can't do them. I've had 3 shoulder surgeries. Wish I could. Yeah, I've only had 1 shoulder surgery, but the one I need is I need a full replacement in here, and I don't want to get it. I don't. The doctor, the orthopedic surgeon I consulted with, he's like everyone around here. I've worked on the Patriots. There's so many of them. But, he said, if you're going to continue training and everything the way you do, and I said, yeah, of course I am. I'm not going to stop lifting. He said, you'll be out of pain, but you're gonna wear down the implant that we put in there, they call it an implant. You're gonna wear it down, and if 5-10 years, whatever, we're gonna have to dig it out and put another one in. Trust me, that's a much more invasive procedure. It takes a much longer recovery period than the initial shoulder replacement. So I'm all set. I can't. There's a lot of shit I can't do, and I have a lot of pain in there, but I live with it. I train around it. I do what I can. Renaud, have you ever used Incorlex? And is it more like insulin or HGH? No, I have never even seen Incorlex. I've heard people talk about it. So that's a brand, a trade name for a brand of IGF-1, Incorlex. I think it's out of Europe. The late John Meadows used to say there was one guy from Europe who basically supplied all the US bodybuilders, and they called him Mr. Incorlex. I don't know what his real name. I wouldn't say it if I did know, but yeah, I have no knowledge of Incorlex. I don't know what the hell it does, how it's better. It's super expensive. I know that. I would hope it's very productive if it's going to set you back thousands and thousands of dollars a month, as I've heard it does. I don't have that kind of money to blow on. For what? What am I going to do? Dale Clark. Again, here we go, Dale. You say it's a different world now, Ron. You would know. Yeah, I'm old. Can you tell us what it was like back in the day? Women at the gym, what was it like? I imagine a lot different. There weren't a lot of women in the gym back in the day. There were some. Of course there were some, but there weren't a lot of them lifting weights. When I first started going to gyms, there'd be like aerobics classes, and most of the women would just do like the step aerobics, the workouts. Most of them never came out and used the weights. The ones that did, guys would hit on them and stuff, but it was a different era. I mean, sexual harassment was a constant. And believe me, I'm not defending it. It's no woman should have to be treated like that or have to deal with that. But men got away with a lot more back then, and women put up with a lot more that they don't put up with anymore. But there weren't a lot of women training, and they certainly weren't filming. We didn't have the capability to film all our sets and everything, tripods. We didn't have all that crap. But, I remember the one thing that attracted me to Janet, who became my wife, was she was one of the few women. This was a health spa, so there were a good amount of women, but they were just messing around. She was actually one of the only ones I saw, and she was only 18 years old at the time. She was trying to lift more weight. Like the other women, they were scared to lift weights. This is not a hardcore gym by any means, but I remember like on a Universal Multi-Station, just to give you an example. For those of you who know what the Universal Multi-Station was, a selector stack. It had different stations all around it. And one of them was like a bench. You'd lie down and do the bench press. She was always trying to use a little bit more weight. And that was like, wow, this girl's actually trying to get stronger, trying to train hard. So that was like, aside from her being beautiful, that was the one thing that really drew me to her. Intra-workout supplements while cutting. Yeah, I wouldn't have any carb drinks while you're training if you're trying to cut. I wouldn't be drinking Gatorade or anything like that, or even any of the more complex stuff. Like I have Cluster Bomb from Redcon that's cyclic dextrin. If I was trying to cut, if I was trying to lose body fat, I definitely wouldn't have that while I was training. I would have it after I train, the carbs after I'm done training. But while I'm training, I would want to get those fatty acids mobilized, and I wouldn't have it before cardio either. I would always want to be in a state where there was very little to no carbs in my system, so that theoretically my body's going to utilize more of the fatty acids for fuel. Dale Kumar, Sunita, thank you. You're welcome. Wow, there's more stuff here. Ratan Sharma, is it okay to get most of the protein from dairy sources if you don't eat meat or eggs? I believe in a variety of protein sources. I know some people just eat chicken every meal or eggs every meal. Dairy is okay, but you have to consume a lot of it. It's not as to get like 50 grams of protein from cheese or from milk, you'd have to drink a lot of milk. You'd have to eat a lot of cheese, whereas a chicken breast this big will give you 50 grams. So you could do it. It's just going to be, what's this? Dave Thomas, did Jennifer meet her partner in the gym, Ron? Who's Jennifer? Jen that works for MD? No, I don't know how they met, but no, I don't believe they met in a gym. Dean Bowen, biggest key is for men to be diligent in their passion and purpose and have that don't give a F attitude you mentioned, yeah. Quality women will be subconsciously attracted, remain aloof and ignore them at the gym. Yeah, I think that goes in general. Women are turned off by neediness, guys who put them on pedestals and they're always looking for their approval. And, they believe women are better than them. And whereas the guys that they are interested in, they're on their purpose. They don't have time to only be worried about women and what do women care about them and getting women's attention. It's not, they don't live and die for that. Whereas simps do. That's all a simp cares about. His whole self-worth is predicated on how much attention he can get from women. And if he doesn't have women's attention, then he's worthless. Whereas these other guys, they're on there. They're worried about their career, their finances, different things. Their whole world doesn't revolve around women's opinion of them. And neediness is a huge turnoff. These guys that they're always calling, always texting, and they want to spend every waking moment with a woman, where these other guys, they have other things going on. They have business, friends, hobbies. I don't think any woman wants, they might think they want it, but they don't really want a guy who's going to be worshiping them and just treating them, putting them on a pedestal like that. I think it would get old very, very quickly. Hey, Torres, you look amazing for your age. Thank you. 53 years old. Let's see. Look at those wrinkles. No Botox. Oh, man. Bo True. Ron does look amazing. The man's a legend. Yeah, gotta go, bro. See you later, Bo. Thanks for watching. AJ Avitabile. You the man, Ron. AJ used to go to Bayshore Athletic Club. He's down in Florida now. His cousin is a huge, big, thickly muscled CrossFit dude. I think he still goes there. Bo True, promise not to kill any lions. Thank you. Appreciate that. Leave the lions alone. Dale Clark, Ron, what advice would you give to a young man who's interested in a woman, is going over for dinner to meet the woman's parents, and has just heard the father is strict and overprotective? I'd say be very, very respectful to the man and don't give him any reason to, discount you as a potential mate for his daughter. Because, I'm very lucky. My daughter is married to a great guy. He's very hardworking, very intelligent. He has an engineering degree. He works in auto financing, but he's in charge of this network. He's doing very well, and he works very, very hard, this kid. He's a very serious young man. I'm lucky like that. But if I never really, I never had a situation where I had to steer her away from like a bad boy or anything, but you don't want to give, it's funny because I think a lot of women, they'll intentionally try to go for men that their parents, especially their dad, doesn't approve of. It's like a rebellion thing. But there are a lot of them who do want mom and dad to approve of, this is the guy I'm dating, and, you know, I want you to like him. I want you to feel comfortable with me being with this guy. I would just be respectful. Don't try to tell any off-color jokes or say anything dumb. You know, dude, I mean, I'm not a relationship advice guy. Come on. What do I know? I got very lucky and met a great woman when we were both very young. I would be at a loss nowadays. I would know. I would be at such a loss if I had to be in this dating market now. Whew, good Lord. I feel bad for all of you who are wrapped up in that now. What a shit show. For everybody concerned, the men and the women. Sanita, second question. Big as person, father, athlete, professional run. Oh, good. What do you think about vegan and carnivore proteins? Do you really consider them switchable with whey? Thank you in advance, dude. Well, whey has the highest bioavailability. I'm just not a huge fan of vegetable proteins, soy and all that. I don't know. Maybe it's a personal bias, but I'd rather see someone having animal-based protein from, you know, whole foods, from dairy, things like that. I'm just not as far as I'm concerned. You know, we evolved as a species, the human race. We weren't eating soy. I mean, we were, when we could, we got animal protein. We were hunters. We were gatherers. So we were constantly out hunting. The men were out hunting animals, and the women were usually gathering, you know, grains, berries, whatever they could before we had farming. So yeah, that's my feeling. AJ, hey brother, hope all is well. Nice shirt. Does Built still exist? I don't think they do. That's why I'm not showing the shirt. You know, I don't want to offend. I know Mark Keeney, who has the other company, Iron Essential. I just didn't have any cool shirts of theirs. So I'm not like promoting them. I'm not showing their logo or anything. I don't know if they exist. Do anything about triptorelin for PCT? No. That sounds like a peptide or something? I've never been and continue not to be an authority on PCT. When I used to try it, I didn't know a damn thing about it. And now I just stay on a moderate dose of test all the damn time. I don't call it TRT because it's more than a doctor would give you. Yeah, I don't know a lot about TRT. PCT. Yeah, so sorry I couldn't be more helpful. Daniel Clark. What did he say? I didn't mean to say you're old. Well, you know, love your humor. I am older. I mean, I'm happy I'm still alive, you know. Anyone that makes fun of someone for being older, I could say, well, you're either going to get older or you're going to die. There's only two things that can happen. You're either going to die young or you're going to live and get older. And then you'll be that old guy or old girl. And, you know, people will say, ha, look at that old dude. Look at that old lady. You know, we're biological creatures. We're born little babies. We grow, and eventually, if we live long enough, we turn into these old men and women, and eventually we just die. So, Cam B 202, if you try to drop weight, should you be eating 5-6 meals a day? Absolutely. You want your metabolism to be cranking. If you go long stretches of the day, that's the thing I hate about intermittent fasting. If you go like 4 or 5, 6 hours between all your meals, your metabolism is slower because your body is like in panic mode thinking, uh-oh, I'm not getting any more food. That's why the way bodybuilders eat with these small meals, it's ideal for ideal body composition, more muscle, less body fat. You know, if most regular people ate like bodybuilders, even if they didn't train, they would have less body fat. But they don't. They'll usually skip breakfast, have a little bit of lunch, and they come home and they're starving. And they just eat a bunch of shit while watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and they go to bed. They slam all these like crap calories toward the end of the day and go to sleep. It's not about the timing. It's just the fact that they went all that time barely eating all day, and now they're slamming all these calories in. And the body, again, is like, oh, we better save all this fat because I don't know when we're going to get fed again. Yeah. Dean Bowen, a strict and overprotective father can be a benefit for a young man courting a daughter. She may be a good woman and therefore a good girlfriend and wife. Be strong in your passion for life and have a plan for your life. Yeah, AJ, I don't know anything about these weird peptides. I don't use them. Never have. I don't. You can Google it. I'm sorry I don't know more about them. I just know a little bit about regular gear. I've never been into the peptides and all that crap. I'd just rather use real gear, real drugs. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm glad there are still some dads who are that involved in their daughters' lives that are looking out for them and want to make sure they're not hooking up with guys who are just going to, use them and abuse them, especially if it's a guy, there's red flags, he's going to be trouble. I'd want to know really early on. Arc Legion Gaming, can I ask a question? I've been taking Deca with testosterone for the last 2 months, but I recently got a blood test. My doctors told me my red blood cell are much bigger and I have more. So your hematocrit went up. You have way too many red blood cells. You need to cut back. That's the only thing you can do. There's no drug you can take that's going to offset that. Yeah, you have too many red blood cells. Your blood's getting thicker. That's a huge risk for blood clotting, for all kinds of bad things with your heart and your circulation. So take care of that. Dale Clark, speaking of sexual harassment, Ron, I'm sure you're a fan of Arnold. What's your thoughts on the sexual conduct allegations? In case if everyone has dirt, isn't a big deal? Was it wrong? I don't know enough about it, but I mean, like I said, the 70s was a very different era. Like Arnold used to, I've heard accounts where he'd go up to women and say, hey, you want to F? And they'd laugh. And because he was so good looking and tall and charismatic, I think a lot of them would just go to bed with him anyway. But I mean, yeah, it was a whole different era back then. You can't just go around talking to women like that. Not that you ever should have. Arc Legion, blood in my system. Is this related to what I'm taking? It's not anything specific. Any steroid would have done that to you eventually. Any combination of steroids, probably if you're prone to having a high red blood cell count, anything would. If you have very specific questions that a medical professional should answer, I do a show that we post every Tuesday called Ask Dr. Testosterone with Dr. George Souliatos. He's a doctor. He's a medical doctor. He's a bodybuilder. He knows this stuff inside out. Please go to the last video that we did together with him, which posted yesterday morning, and put that in the comments. Any questions you have for upcoming episodes that you want an actual doctor, not this me. I'm a medical moron. I have no medical training. I don't know anything about that stuff. So I definitely defer to a doctor. Dr. T is great. EM. Hey, Ron, I was wondering, what are your views on ashwagandha? I take it twice a day. It's supposed to be really good with mood, things like that. I mean, it's not that expensive, so I just take it. Renaud, when did mainstream pro bodybuilders go from the Craig Tice bad boy mold to the Nick Walker sensitivity era? Well, Craig was like the only bad boy. It wasn't like they were all bad boys back then. I think people are more open and honest and transparent about their feelings now in general because that's what people really want to see. They don't want to see this fake persona where I'm a tough guy and nothing bothers me. And, that's bullshit. And everyone's got feelings. Everyone's got hopes, fears, desires. Everyone gets depressed. And I think it's good that we see that these bodybuilders now, that they show their human side, and we see that they're not these machines. They're not just these big muscle men that, they don't have any problems. They don't have any feelings. So I think it's great that we can relate to these champions as fellow humans. You realize they're no different from you or I. We all wake up, we all go to sleep, we all piss, we all shit. We all get hungry, we all get tired, we all, I think it's cool that we have this new access, and the bodybuilders nowadays, they let you into their lives. They let you see who they really are. It's not just some, back in the day, those magazines, there was no video. There were very few videos. You just see pictures of these guys with lifting weights and with dark glasses on. They'd be with, they'd take pictures with their cool cars and some hot chick. You're like, oh, wow. You didn't think these were real people. You thought they were like gods. Well, they're not. They were never gods. They were people. Trust me. Marks. Dale Clark, speaking of simps, Ron, what do you think of the men who are all too eager to subscribe to women's OnlyFans accounts that send tips, buy underwear? Some even tip more if the underwear comes with skid marks. Simps are the reason that these women are running rampant over society now. None of this shit would exist if men weren't stupid and desperate enough to be when I see a woman's profile, I see Linktree, I'm like, uh-oh. Because you'll click on Linktree, and it's usually an OnlyFans, spicy content, Venmo, Cash App. Guys are giving them money for nothing. They're not even getting pictures or videos. Have some respect for yourself, guys. I blame the simps. They're the ones that created the situation. They're the ones that are subscribing to the OnlyFans. They're the ones that are feeding into this whole problem. If guys weren't so stupid and lonely and desperate to throwing money at these women, I see so many women with. All right, I'll be very shallow here, so please forgive me. Let's say looks range from 1 to 10. 10 being absolutely stunning, drop dead gorgeous. 1 being something that looks like it crawled out of Shrek's ass and died, okay? I see a lot of women look up like clown. There's a ton of them, women that are like 3 to 4 in the looks department, overweight. All they do is paint clown makeup on their face. That's it. And now they have an OnlyFans account, and guys are giving them money. So I can't blame the women. They're just taking advantage of a situation that these guys have created where it's the simps. Stop simping. If you're out there and why are you giving these women money? Why? What is your problem? They don't respect you. They laugh at you. They call you cash piggies. Maybe you just want to be degraded and used. I don't know, but if anyone out there is a simp, please stop simping, because you're ruining it for everybody. You're creating this horrible situation where now these women, they don't have to work. They think they're elevated to the status of like supermodel because they have all these men sending them money and subscribing to their nude pictures. Yeah, obviously I have strong feelings about this. Simps. Skid marks. There's a woman I saw who was selling her farts in a jar for $1,000 each. Imagine how much money I would have. Oof. But yeah, there are men that are paying this woman. She was making like $500,000 a year, something ridiculous, selling her farts in a jar. That's how stupid men are. Oh, AJ again. A lot of TRT clinics are prescribing peptides as a choice now, obviously for more money. Yeah, they do that because they make more money. A lot of my clients have gotten put on them recently. That's why I ask, it's the next big thing. TRT clinics, a lot of them, they'll just anything that they can make money on. Like they'll put everyone on an aromatase inhibitor, and everyone doesn't need an aromatase inhibitor, but they can charge you more money for it. They're obviously in it to make money, and the peptides they're a lot cheaper for them. There's a lot they can market the price up more. Stick to drugs, guys. I mean, if you're going to use stuff, just use drugs that have a long track record. These peptides, they haven't been around that long. We don't know the long-term effects, side effects, and things like that. Just stick with drugs that have been established and used for decades. That's what I would do. Dale Clark, what's your thoughts on people who say men don't cry? Well, I cry all the time. I have very high estrogen levels. I cry at a lot of movies, a lot of songs. I'm a big crybaby. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, men were supposed to be like the Marlboro Man, like a statue. They didn't cry. They didn't talk much. Never talked about their feelings. Back in the old days, it was the model. Men would come home from working all day. They would come home. The wife would have dinner ready for them. He'd crack open a beer or two, bust out a cigarette and sit there and watch TV, eat his food, smoke, drink some beers, and then go to bed, do it all over again. Didn't interact with his kids, didn't talk to anybody. He was just basically made his money, came home. Yeah, it's a different world now. Rotten Sharma, it's funny how being 6'2" is generally a disadvantage in bodybuilding. Shorter guys can at least be happy in that regard. Well, you don't want to be too short either. The ideal height range for bodybuilding is probably 5'7" to 5'11", in that range. You don't want to be much shorter than that. You don't want to be much taller than that either. The best bodybuilders, look at all the Mr. Olympia champions. Let's go back to Lee Haney, 5'11". Dorian Yates, 5'11". Ronnie Coleman, 5'11". Jay Cutler, 5'9". Phil Heath, 5'9". Dexter Jackson, anomaly, 5'6". Who do we have after Dexter? Oh, then Jay got it back. And Big Ramy. He's like 5'10", 5'11". So, yeah. Renaud. Show pros get docked points if they can't smile or look comfortable on stage due to holding in their guts. No. Nobody said you had to smile. I mean, it's infectious when you have that winning attitude, when you're smiling, you look like you're confident, you're having a good time. A great example is a couple weeks ago, Tony O'Burton. He won the Legion Sports. And any of you who saw the live stream, the pay-per-view, he was having the time of his life up there. He knew he had brought an awesome package. I think he knew he was going to win, and everything he projected was a winner, a winning aura, just a good, confident feeling. Whereas guys who look like either angry or uncomfortable, it's awkward. You know, I say to practice your posing a lot so you can make it look easy. You don't want to be up there like you're trying to take a dump. Nobody wants to see that. But no, they're not going to dock you points. It's all about the physique. Kiek bak bake. Any tips? Voor testosterone. Voor, I don't know what that means, what language you're speaking. Testosterone undecadent acne break ut. I'm on TRT dose 6 ml. There's acne drugs you can take like Accutane and stuff. But yeah, if you're getting either cut your dose back or I don't know. How did you keep your hair? Well, I didn't really. You can see it's thinning here. I mean, I have 4 brothers, so there's 5 of us. I actually have the most hair out of all of us, and one of them is younger than me. He's 3 years younger. But we all have the same exact hair loss pattern. You know, with some of them it's up way higher than this, but my hairline used to come down to here. If you ever see old pictures of me. So, and here is very thin. I'm going to have to get some kind of transplant eventually. The crown of my head is the hair is very, very thin. So I don't have any tips about keeping hair because I haven't really kept my hair. I've kept a lot of it. I'm grateful because I'd be a very ugly bald man. Oof. I think I'd look like a freaking white supremacist or something if I had a bald head, but no, I'm glad I still have some hair. I wish I had all the hair I used to have. I used to have all kinds of ridiculous hair, like a Muppet. Frank Zane never smiled while posing, says Dean Bowen. Yeah, a lot of people never did. You don't have to smile. Dorian never smiled, ever on stage. Even when he won, to be like a little smirk would be it. Do you think they should bring back the symmetry round? Well, I don't think they ever really got rid of it. Yeah, I don't think they ever got rid of it. Renaud, I say that because Nick Walker looks uncomfortable next to guys like Derek Lunsford and Big Ramy. Yeah, sorry for New York, says Keek. Ratan Sharma, if given a choice, would most bodybuilders choose being 6'2" and be a Chad? If the women crave, it would be 5'7" and be a top bodybuilder. Who wouldn't want to be 6'2"? If you could choose between being 5'7" and being 6'2", why wouldn't you be 6'2"? You get instant respect from all other men for doing nothing except being taller than them. Women dig tall guys. Why would you want to be short? I mean, I think everyone, if you could, unless all you care about is being some great bodybuilder and that's like your one true passion in life and you want to be Mr. Olympia or this or that or a pro, yeah, then maybe you'd want to choose the genetics for being a great bodybuilder over being much taller. But I think most men, the way the world is now, especially where it's a huge advantage in many situations, taller men make more money with the same college degrees, everything else. They get paid more. That's a fact. You can look it up. Why? Because people just respect them more. It's just it's an evolutionary thing where we respect bigger, stronger, taller people, men especially, because they're protectors, they're warriors. I don't know. Posing round. Oh, Mark wanted to know, should they score the posing round? No, I don't think so. And I say that because let's say you're an awesome poser. You pose way better than everyone else, but your physique is not at that standard. Should you be scoring higher in the posing round, even though your physique is far inferior? I don't think so. So I do want to see people that put the time and energy into posing well and having a great presentation. And I don't like to see guys come up with these posing routines off top of their head where it's very clear they're just making it up as they go along. They're winging it because they'll be pausing. They'll be trying to think of another pose. They'll be repeating poses. I don't like that. You should have a routine. But as far as a posing round being counted towards the ultimate score, nah, I don't think so. Because again, it's a physique contest. And I don't think somebody with great posing and a bad physique should place higher than somebody with a much better physique just because they're not as good a poser. Branch, what are you doing over there? My dog, what's he doing? Renaud, is Akim Williams fair to place ahead of Walker in this year's Olympia? Well, Akim has never beaten him yet. Last year, Akim was 10th and Nick was 5th. Akim was 6th the year before. Nick wasn't in the Olympia that year. So I don't know. I mean, you never know. These predictions we're all making, they're meaningless because until we get to the show and see how everybody looks, none of this crap matters. None of this crap. It's all just speculation. Will Ramy win again? Says Matthew Reese. I think he will. I think he will. I mean, he's Who's beating him? Who's going to beat that? He's looking crazy right now. I don't know who's going to beat that. So sending women money. Yeah, women on their they have links to just Venmo and Cash App, or tip me, support me. It's just send me money for nothing. And guys are so stupid that they do it. Stop being an idiot, guys. Any of you who do that, you should be ashamed of yourself. Have some self-respect. These women don't respect you. They don't appreciate you. Trust me. They're laughing at you. They're like, they might say, thanks, hon, but trust me. They would in real life, they would never touch you or talk to you or go near you. No, they just want your money. They want anyone's money. So no, stop being simps. Reno, should public weigh-ins and height checks be mandatory for classics so people stop accusing Bumstead of over-reporting his height to make more weight? Well, the weigh-ins and the heights, they're not public, but all the athletes are in there, the media people are in there. So we do see these people weigh in and get heighted. I've been there with streaming and stuff. I've seen it happen. So it's pretty hard to pull a fast one. The whole thing with Chris is I think they got his height lower once, and every other time they've gotten it higher. So I don't know. Show day is where all speculation ends. Yeah, nothing matters until they all come out and you see what they look like that day next to each other. Nothing else matters. Ratan Sharma, can Urs or Ramon Dino beat Terrence or Sebum? Maybe. Can they? I don't know. We'll find out. Don't count. These guys are all very good. They're all very close to each other. It's not like Chris is unbeatable or Ramon. None of these guys are unbeatable. They're all very good. They're all very close to each other. So anything can happen on a given day. I mean, Terrence has been runner-up the last 2 years in a row. So if anyone's got a chance of beating Chris, I think it's Terrence. What's your favorite Mr. Olympia contest of all time? Asked Mark. I think out of pure nostalgia, I would go with this is going to be the last question. I got to get going. Yeah, who has more chance of losing, Sebum or Rami? Neither one. I think they're both a lock. My favorite Olympia was the 91. It was my first. 1991 in Orlando. It was Lee Haney's 8th and last Olympia. It was the first Olympia I'd ever been to. I was still like a kid in a candy store. I just started working in the industry that year, 1991. I was 21 years old. I think I turned 22 by the time of the show. Not sure when it happened in September. But man, it was, to me, to see all those people in real life, it was crazy. All these people I'd only seen in the magazines. Yeah, it was awesome. And it was Dorian Yates' first Mr. Olympia. It was the first time pretty much, aside from those who had gone to the Night of Champions show in 90 and 91, no one else had seen Dorian except for at that Olympia. That was the first look most people had at him. Dean Bowen, who thinks Bumstead's lying about his height? Go to a show, go to the gym and see for yourself. I've stood next to him. I'm not a good judge because I'm down here at 5'7.5", but he's not a short guy. Dane Christensen, just watched Sebum's YouTube. He confirmed Ian's no longer his coach. Yeah, but he didn't say who his coach is. We were hearing Trigilli and others say it was Hani Rambod, months ago, but we've had zero confirmation about that. Zero. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to coach him. He also may have injured his quad. He had to stop a hack and change exercises. Uh-oh. Yeah. And Chris has started to accumulate injuries. I mean, he's a young guy. He's only 27, but he's been training very hard since he was, I don't know, like 14 or something. And he was very strong. He was doing all kinds of heavy deadlifts and squats for years. So, yeah, I would imagine he's going to get hurt now and then. Orlando 91. That was an awesome Olympia. Yeah. It was at the Walt Disney World Dolphin Hotel. I remember that specifically. Ronnie Coleman was working as security at that show. He was just going around with an IFBB polo shirt. Ronnie Coleman. He was still an amateur. He turned pro like a month after that. Ratan Sharma, thoughts on Nick Trigilli as a bodybuilder? He was very good. He won the USA overall. He was very good. Yeah, I have nothing bad to say. And he still looks great now. He's got great genetics. It's all genetics, guys. Drugs are important, sure. You got to eat and you got to train. But you have to have the right genetics. If you have awesome genetics, you'll always look better than somebody with average genetics, always. I've seen people with awesome genetics. They didn't eat that well. They didn't train that hard. Some of them barely took any drugs, and they still usually look better than just about everybody else. I always say this. I say it like every show I do, but those genetics are so rare. I could walk into any crowded gym and go, maybe there's 200 people on the workout floor. I go, that guy, that girl. That's it. Out of all these people, those are the genetic freaks in this gym. Dale Clark, Ron, speaking of simps, somewhat closer later, your thoughts on this mail order bride business? Is it a case of certain men can't find their ideal match in their home country, or is it pure desperation? Well, I think a lot of men, U.S. men, are very fed up with American women. They have very high, unrealistic standards where you do have to be tall, you have to be good looking, you have to be rich. They're very demanding, even if they bring very little to the table themselves. Average men are not good enough for average women in the U.S. anymore. They all want better. They say, I know my worth, I'm not going to settle. And a lot of them will get run through by a million Chads and Tyrones. And then at 40, they start posting on Facebook, where are all the good men? Ah, well, you know what? They ignored all the good men because they were only going after the best looking guys who had all kinds of girls and options. So they never committed to them. That's a whole other video. Renaud, does Matt Jansen get his guys to jimmy up their biceps? I've noticed Brett Lou's definition there since, I don't know, not that I'm aware of. I haven't really paid attention. I'm liking Ursa's, Dane Christensen, I'm liking Ursa Arnold S. mind games, training with everyone and talking smack. I love Ursa. I think Ursa's great for the sport. Great attitude. He's obviously got the social media and video content thing down to a science. I like Ursa a lot. I think he's a great physique, great attitude, just real positive, good energy. We need more people like Urs. Renaud, Urs genetics are obviously better than Sebum. I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but he might be too young this year for the win. I don't think he has better genetics than Chris. I mean, I don't think anyone has better genetics than Chris. They've got great genetics, both of them, trust me. Ratan Sharma, can we say Nigerian genetics are best for bodybuilding? Well, if that was true, then all the best bodybuilders would be from Nigeria. They do have some amazing genetics in Nigeria, but they're not the only ones. I mean, there are people from, you'll notice some countries produce very, very, like your native India. There's not a lot of great bodybuilders come out of India. I don't think most of them have the genetics, the muscle bellies and things like that, whereas Nigeria, Ghana, West Africa seems to have more of that wide structure and the long muscle bellies. Samson, Blessing, Andrew, you see that, but there are great bodybuilders from pretty much every country and ethnic group. But yeah, there are some places where we see a lot more. Dale Clark. Speaking of feelings, Ron, quite a dark question. What advice would you give to a man who's depressed and wants to end it? Speak to someone. For me, it sounds to be joining the gym. I mean, the gym's great. It's not going to, most men don't get help. Men have much higher suicide rates than women because women will tend to, they'll go to their friends. They have a support system. Other women they can talk. Whereas men, we've been taught to internalize our feelings. Men don't cry and men don't complain. And we're not supposed to get depressed. You're just supposed to suffer in silence. And that's why we have suicide rates have been going crazy high over the past few years, especially during the pandemic and everything. But get help, man. Go find a good therapist. Talk to someone. Yeah, there's no reason to have to deal with it on your own because depression is very, very real. I've gone through it myself. I've seen it in so many other people. It's real. And, like as men, I think we don't believe that we should be depressed. We should just suck it up and just snap out of it. And it's not that easy. It's a chemical imbalance in the brain. It can be situational things in your life. Maybe you're having trouble with women or you're trouble with a career or your school studies, something. I mean, it's very real. So please get help, guys, if you need help. Did you hear Breon after this year is going open, Matthew Reese? No, he's not going open. He's going 212. Different division. But yes, he's going back to 212. Renaud, if Blessing places ahead of Walker at the Olympia, will Nick be humbled? I mean, why does he need to be humbled? What's wrong with him? Sebum, the most overrated bodybuilder since Yates? That's your opinion. A lot of people think he's awesome. He inspires millions of young men around the world. He's got 10 million followers on Instagram, so he can't be that bad. Sebum lost the game in the next year. Wait for it. God, a lot of hate for Sebum. Jeez. Heron, can you put creatine in your workout drink or should be before and after? I would have it before and during, but before for sure. 5 grams, a little scoop. I would do 5 grams before the workout. In your pre-workout, a lot of pre-workouts have creatine in it anyway already. And then I would do, if you didn't have an intra shake, I would have while you train. Milos Sarshev, huge advocate of intra-workout nutrition. Creatine, glutamine, essential amino acids, in a lot of cases, carbs too. I don't like the carbs while I train personally. Ratan Sharma, in India, there's huge popularity of men's physique. Last couple of years, I've seen a number of Indians turning pro. Yeah, they just don't, a lot of Indians don't have the genetics to be huge. Open bodybuilder, 212 bodybuilder, huge. It's very tough for them. It's a lot of ectomorphs, a lot of light bone structures. And I think a lot of them are vegetarians, which I don't think helps build muscle either. Yeah, Polsky Polsky, well, how do I rate the genetics of Steve Reeves? I'd like to see what he would have done in the modern era with the way we eat and train and supplements and all that now. I think he was great for his era. Dale, Ron, your thoughts on people who say depression and other mental health issues aren't real? Not everyone says it, but some, and some even say it's an act to get sympathy, attention. It's very real. I mean, all kinds of psychological professionals, mental health professionals would tell you you can't argue that it's not real. Depression is 100% real. There's all kinds of evidence that shows the chemical imbalance with serotonin levels down, and it's a very real thing. If anyone's trying to deny it's real, that's like, people trying to say the earth is flat. It's not. In West Bengal, India, there are some massive dudes. I mean, I've seen like the Bollywood. There's some jacked up dudes for sure. I'm not saying there's nobody in India that's muscular. It's just in general, they tend to be men from India tend to be lighter boned, smaller in stature. In general, just like when I say people in the Netherlands are much taller. The average height in the Netherlands is like 6'2". That's average. That's not even tall. Whereas you have someplace like Malaysia, I think the average male height is like 5'3" or 5'4". Huge difference. Kaiki Pro. What do I think about Kaiki Pro in this Olympia? He's very good, Kaiki, the men's physique pro from Boston, originally from Brazil. Yeah, he's very good. He's been pretty high up before. You can look up India bodybuilding from the 50s to 1980s. Yeah, I mean, I'm well aware that they've had some champions. They just haven't had a lot, obviously. All right, well, I got to go eat. My son's home. I might have to train him at the gym. So appreciate you guys all watching. I really do appreciate it. Put some comments there. I get to all the comments. I like to interact. I love your feedback. What do you want to talk about on the next one? I'll make some notes, I promise. But I appreciate you guys spending some time with me here today, interacting with me. No more questions. Sorry, Dean. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.